Hey Heather, could I be eating too much protein? Is that possible? I just had a lovely email from a community member asking me this. She weighs about 136 pounds. Her doctor said that based on her blood work, they think she's consuming too much protein. And then she shared with me she's trying to consume about 200 grams a day, or she is consuming about 200 grams a day. And her question to me is that really a thing? Could you eat too much protein? The short answer is yes, you can. It's very unlikely that a female in this country is going to do that, but is it possible? Definitely. And so what we want to keep in mind is some general guidelines. First, if you're going by the US guidelines, right, about 30% of your calories in protein is kind of their ceiling on what they recommend. I try to keep mine between 30 and 35. But what that translates into for me, about 150 grams of protein a day. 200 grams on a 136 pound person is an exorbitantly high amount of protein. But she shared with me, I'm loving all of the protein pancakes and the protein muffins and the protein custards, and I just don't want to give those things up. So what could I do to start to lower my protein so my doctor, can rerun my blood work and still keep some of the goodies that I'm enjoying? And I gave her a couple suggestions. And again, I know this is a very unusual situation, but I just want to address it. If you are somebody who is consuming a large quantity of protein, way over that 30-35% of your calories, and your doctor says, look, you need to cut it back a little bit, but you really are enjoying eating a higher protein diet. One way that I have found works good for me, I do like the protein pancakes and all that, is to do vegetarian meals as your primary breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you do a vegetarian meal and nix your animal proteins, but you want the protein custard, you want the protein shake, you want the protein pancakes, what will happen is at the end of the day, your protein numbers will drop. But if you're eating your 3 to 4 ounces of chicken at each meal, or eggs or whatever, and you're having those goodies, you're probably going to be hitting crazy high protein numbers. So that's one option. You could go to more of a vegetarian eating style for a couple of your meals to balance out all those protein goodies. The other option would be if you're making things like protein pancakes, protein muffins, instead of using protein powder, which is really high in protein, you could try switching to a baking mix. They have a bunch of them now on Amazon. They're more oat flour based or flour based, and they do have a higher protein content, but they do not have nearly as much protein as protein powder. Something like a Kodiak mix. I've seen other ones they have on there. They have ones that are more carb conscious that you could use in combination with some of the other stuff that you're making as a bonding agent. So, and oat flour also works really well. So I just want to share these ideas because if you're loving eating more protein, you're feeling satiated, you're feeling good, but your doctor says based on your blood work or whatever that you really do need to cut back, those are some simple ways to keep the foods you might be enjoying in your diet without necessarily hitting those crazy high protein goals. And again, this is not going to be the majority of people watching this video. This is a very unusual individual case scenario, but I do want to address it because when somebody hears I should eat more protein or believes they should be eating more protein, or they try to jack up their protein, they'll find all these different recipes and they might actually start to enjoy it. And before they know it, they go from like say 60 grams a day to 200 grams a day. And that's a huge spike up for your body. So just keeping in mind 30% of calories from protein is a good top ceiling number. And you can put that in MyFitnessPal or any other food tracking device just to kind of see what gram amount that is for you. And then if you're talking about generally, you'll hear people say 1 gram per pound of body weight. Well, if you weigh 136 pounds, it's 136 grams of protein. So that's another kind of marker to let you know if you're overshooting. And then just those simple things like having vegetarian-based meals and still keeping your protein goodies, or altering your protein goodies by eliminating some of the protein powder and using something more like a Kodiak baking mix, waffle mix, things of that nature. I hope that helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.